Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I have a very special guest joining me, and she's none other than my niece, Hazel.
Thank you, Mercy, for having me on your channel.
You're welcome. In fact, Hazel is 10 years younger than me, and for my parents, she's the eldest grandchild. And today she's going to lead us, showing us quite a few recipes, and she became a very well baker after all the baking she did in her young days. She used to join me making a lot of mischief in the garden. We used to bake those mud cakes and decorating it with the fresh flowers. But the only thing was not possible is to eat them. But now she became one of a very good baker. Now she's going to take us through to a few recipes, and I'm going to hand you all over to Hazel.
Thank you. Hi, so today we're going to start making the Gulab Jamun recipe, and then I'm going to let it rest for about an hour or so, and then we'll move on to making some laddus, and thereafter, while the laddu is cooling down, we will make banana puri. So to start off with the Gulab Jamun recipe, I've got 3 cups of flour, which I've already sifted. I've got a cup of semolina. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
So flat teaspoons, not heaped teaspoons?
No, flat. It's always measured out. And then I'm going to add, I like eliachi, so I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of eliachi. I'm just mixing all the dry ingredients together so it's blended well. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ghee, but it's in the solid form. And I'm going to mix it up to make breadcrumbs. Okay, that should be fine. So now I'm going to add a tin of condensed milk. And I'm going to just mix this around.
So the condensed milk is actually for sweetening, so you won't be adding any sugar to the dough itself?
Not to the dough. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got a cup of water that I'm going to add to the tin of condensed milk, because the condensed milk is not enough to make a dough. So it's going to be quite a soft dough, and then there's quite a bit of condensed milk left over in the tin. So I'm just going to use that to mix up. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more. This is just normal tap water. This is not ice water or anything of that. And then I'm just going to move to my mixing the dough with my hand. So the dough is quite sticky, as you can see. just mix it up nicely.
So Hazel, you didn't use the full cup of water, hey? There's
No.
about a quarter cup left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then my dough is ready. So I'm going to put this into into cling wrap or into a plastic packet for it to rest. And then when we are ready to make the gulab jams, I will roll them out and set them to fry.
How long do you let it rest for?
About an hour or 2 hours at the most.
In the fridge or?
You can put it in the fridge, but I feel that if you put it in the fridge, it becomes a bit hard. So I just leave it out to stand for an hour. And now I'm going to start making the syrup. So I've got 2 cups of sugar measured. I've got a cup of water. And then I'm going to add some rose water. Again, the rose water is the ingredient that gives it that lovely smell and taste. So I'm going to add just on a quarter cup of rose water. And then a teaspoonful of lemon juice. And this just helps the sugar from not crystallizing when it boils. Then we're going to mix this up a little. And allow it to boil. So the syrup will take about 45 minutes to get ready, and you can keep mixing up the water so that the sugar is dissolved completely. And how you check that the syrup is ready is when it starts to be a little thicker than this watery consistency. But I'll show you as we go on. Okay, so just an update on the syrup that I've got boiling. If you can see, that's about 15 minutes into the cook, and it's still of a runny consistency. I want it to be a little bit more thick. Just note that the sugar is very hot, so do not stick your finger into it. Maybe, keep the spoon out for a little while and then touch just the edge. Once you see a little bit of a sticky consistency, then you know it's ready. But as you can see here, we're still not there yet. So I'll give it maybe about another 15 minutes to get ready. And if you feel that your syrup is not enough, I've given you the basic recipe for the syrup. 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, quarter cup of rose water, and a teaspoon of lemon juice, and you can make more syrup if you need to. Hi guys, we're back to making the gulab jam. My dough has rested. I placed it into a plastic packet and I let it rest for an hour and a half. So all I'm going to do now is break open the packet and form the little gulab jams. So you just pinch out a little piece, and again, with this, you make it as you want. The smaller sizes or bigger sizes is according to your requirement. Then I make them into the shape, the donut shape, and I place them on the paper to rest until I'm ready to fry. So I make them into round balls and just roll them out however you want. If you want them smaller, you can make them smaller. If you want them bigger, you can make them bigger. And then we will get ready with our oil as well to fry it on medium heat. And when I say medium heat, the oil must not be too hot, because if you fry it on hot heat, the gulab jams don't open up or don't rise properly. The hot oil just stops the rising. And even if it is cooked on very high heat, then the outside gets cooked faster than the inside, which will leave you to have raw dough on the inside. I'm ready now with the Gulab Jamun rolled out. So we've got, I've made just a few different shapes, sizes, so you can see how they rise when they're in the oil. My oil is of medium, it's on medium heat. So when I fry them, they're going to cook consistently from the outside all the way to the inside. So we'll just add a few. Add those in the meantime, and then you'll see them frying. Let them cook slowly. And you just keep moving them around so they fry evenly and they color evenly. As you can see, the gulab jams are now turning a golden brown, and they've risen quite well in the oil. And you know, you just got to keep moving them around so that they color evenly. So now the gulab jams are the right color. It's a golden brown. If you want it darker, you can actually make it darker, but I prefer them to be this golden brown. I drop it directly into the syrup. The syrup is still warm. And drop it directly in there. And you coat it with your syrup. Into the desiccated coconut.
The desiccated coconut is optional.
Yes, or you can even color the dough if you want. I mean, you know, there's so many different varieties that people are making these days. But this is just the basic old-fashioned way of making gulab jam. If you don't like the coconut, you can leave them plain. And then we're going to repeat the process until we've done frying all the gulab jams. So from the recipe that I've made, we get around about 5 dozens of gulab jams, depending on the size that you're making. If you make them normal, these sizes, then it's about 5 dozens. If you make them bigger, then obviously the quantity will change. So here's the finished product. The gulab jams are all done. And we've served them up with a nice cup of tea for a cold winter's eve afternoon in Johannesburg. Thank you for watching. Until the next video.
Okay, now we have come to the end of this wonderful evening of baking. Want to thank Hazel very much to come through to show the viewers all the favorites that they actually requested for. Thank you very much, Hazel.
You're welcome, Mosi.
Everything is looking so delicious. We are really going to have a feast, and hopefully for all these recipes, if Hazel can get 500 likes, so we'll get her back before Diwali to show us more recipes.